Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. I have combined all the videos in the live search design series into this single long video so that it's easy for you to follow. Now in this video, we are basically going to create this design. So if I click on this search icon, we have this screen right here and we have some featured posts displayed over here. And if I type something, then the posts that have this keyword inside the title are displayed over here. So in this way, you can go ahead and search for the posts in your website. Now we're going to build this from scratch using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And in the end, I will also show you how to add this to your Blogger website, and I will also leave the link of the source code in the description of this video. Alright, so let's get started. Right here I have created this folder called Live Search and I just opened it with VS Code. Now let's go ahead and create the necessary files. So let's click on New File and let's create an HTML file. I'll just name it index.html. And let's also create a CSS file. I'll just name it style.css. And we'll also create a JavaScript file. I'll just name it main.js. Let's start with the index.html file, and in VS Code you can just type exclamation and press tab. And you'll have this basic HTML5 code. So let's go ahead and link our CSS file over here. So I'll just tap link and press tab. And in the href I'll just tap style.css. And here in the body I'll just link the JavaScript file. So I'll just tap script:/src and press tab. And here I'll just tap main.js. Now let's go ahead and start with the markup of our design. So the first thing we will do is we'll create a header tag. So let's tap header. And we'll also give it a class of main header. And in this header, the first thing we need to have is the logo. So here we can see we have the logo on the left side, and then on the right side we have this search icon. So let's create a division for the logo and let's give it a class of logo. And in the logo we just need to type lb dot. And let's open this in our browser and let's see how it looks. So I have this extension called Live Server installed in VS Code. So once you install that, you can just right click over here in the HTML and click on Open with Live Server. And here your website will be displayed in this browser. So here we have the logo displayed. Now let's go ahead and add this search icon. So for that, let's create a division. And let's give it a class of search icon. And in this we will add the icon. So for the icon, we will use the icon from heroicons.com. Right here I'm in heroicons.com and let's search for search. And I'll just copy this icon from here. So let's click on copy SVG and let's go back and paste it over here. And if you go back, here we have the logo and the search icon. And the next thing we need to have are these elements over here. So for this we'll create a different division. So let's go back and here inside this header, let's create a division with the class of search results. And in this, the first thing we need to have is the search input. So let's create an input field, and for the type, let's set it to text. And let's also add a placeholder, and here we'll just type search here. And we'll also add a class for this. So I'll just type class, and let's set the class to search input. And we will add this input field inside a division. Let's give it a class of search input container. And let's add this input field inside here. And the next thing we need to have is this heading. So for that, let's create a division with the class of search title. And here I'll just type featured posts. And here we can see we have the input field and the featured posts heading. And the next thing we need to have are these featured posts over here. And we will use the same design for the search results as well. So let's go back and let's give it a class of results container. And in that we need to have a UL. And in the UL we will have list items. And in the list items we will have anchor tags. And here you can add the link of your post. I'll just add hash for now. And let's add some posts over here. So I'll just copy this title from here. And I'll just paste it over here for the first anchor tag. And let's copy this li. And I'll just paste it 2 more times. And let's copy the second title from here and let's paste it over here. And let's copy the third one and let's paste it over here for the third anchor tag. And now we can see that all the elements are displayed in our browser. Now let's go ahead and style it using CSS. So let's go back to our code, and here we can see we have already linked the CSS file. So let's go to our style.css file, and first of all let's target the header, and for the header we also have a class of main header. So let's type header dot main header, and we need to have the logo on the left side and the icon on the right side. So let's type display of flex, and now if you go back, here we can see that the logo is on the left side, but the search icon is not being displayed, and we also have all this content on the right side. So what we will do is we will position all this content relative to the header. So if we go back to our HTML file, here we can see this is the main header, and in that we have this search results division, and in that we need to have all these other elements. So what we will do is we'll just remove this ending div tag from here. We need to place all of these elements inside the search results division. So I'll just add the end tag over here. Right now we can see that we have the main header, and in that we have this division with the class of search results, and in that we have all the content of the search results. So let's go ahead and position this search results relative to the header. So here for the header, let's type position relative, and let's target the search results. So here let's type search results, and let's set the position to absolute, and this is how it looks. But for now I'll just hide all of this so that we can style all the other elements, and later we will style these search results. So I'll just set the display to none for now. Right now let's go back to our browser, and this is how it looks. Let's go ahead and bring this header to the center, and let's also set a max width. So I'll just tap max width, and we'll just set the max width to 700 pixels. And to bring it to the center, I'll just type margin 0 for top and bottom and auto for left and right. And now we can see it is in the center. So if we'll just add a background color, here we can see that it is in the center. Right now let's go ahead and set a background color. So I'll just change this to hash EDF2F4, and let's also add some padding. So let's tap padding, and let's set the padding to 8 pixels top and bottom and 32 pixels left and right. And we'll also set the font family to Roboto, and this is how it looks. Right now let's style the logo. So for the logo we have this division with the class of logo. We'll also add an anchor tag for the logo so that when someone clicks on the logo, they'll be taken to the home page. So I'll just create an anchor tag over here, and I'll just cut the ending tag and paste it after this text. So here we have this logo. Now let's style this logo. So for the logo we have this division with the class of logo, and in that we have the anchor tag. So let's type header main header logo A, and let's set the font size to 24 pixels, and let's set the font weight to bold, and we'll remove the underlines. So let's type text decoration and none, and let's set the color of the text to black. Now we need to display the search icon on the right side. So for the search icon we have this division with the class of search icon, and we need to add a height to this SVG. So let's type header main header search icon SVG, and let's set the height to 24 pixels. And now we can see that the search icon is being displayed. Let's also add some padding to the container division, which is search icon. So let's type header main header search icon, and let's set the padding to 4 pixels, and let's set the cursor to pointer. Right now we need to center this vertically. So let's go to the container division, which is header, and let's set align items to the center, and we need to have the logo on the left side and the search icon on the right side. So for that you have to type justify content space between, and now we can see it looks alright. Right now the next thing we need to do is we need to style this search results. So let's go back, and here we have set the display to none. So I'll just remove this, and now we can see that the contents are being displayed. Now let's go ahead and set the top position to 52 pixels, and now we can see it starts exactly from the end of the header. Now let's add a background color. So I'll just copy the same background color from here, and I'll just paste it over here. And we need to set the width to 100%. So for that you have to type left 0 and right 0. Alright, now let's add some padding. So let's tap padding, and let's set the padding to 24 pixels top and bottom and 32 pixels left and right. Right, now let's style this input field. So for the input field we have this input with the class of search input. So let's type search results search input, and let's go ahead and set the width to 100%, and let's set the border to none, and let's add a padding, and let's set the padding to 12 pixels top and bottom and 16 pixels left and right, and let's set the font size to 16 pixels. Now if you click on this input field, we have this outline, so I'll just remove that. So you can just type outline and set it to none, and now we don't have the outline. Now you can see that the width of the element is more than expected. So for that you can just type box sizing and set it to border box. Now we can see we have the correct width. Right, now let's style this search title. So for that we have this division with the class of search title. So here I'll just type search results search title, and let's set the font size to 14 pixels, and we'll set the margin to 16 pixels top and bottom and 0 for left and right. Right, now let's style this unordered list. So here we can see we have this UL. So let's go ahead and type search results UL. And first of all, let's remove the bullets. So I'll just type list style and set it to none. And we'll also remove the padding and margin that comes by default. So let's type padding 0, margin 0. Now the last thing we need to style is this anchor tag. So here we can see we have anchor tags inside this UL. So let's go ahead and type search results ULA. And the first thing we will do is we will remove the underline. So just type text decoration none, and let's set the font size, and let's set the font size to, let's try 16 pixels, and let's set the color of the text to 2B2D42. Let's set the font weight to bold, and we'll also add some padding. So I'll just type padding, and let's set it to 12 pixels. And here we can see that the padding is not being applied to the top and bottom. So for that we have to change this anchor tag into a display of inline block. So let's type display of inline block, and now we can see that the padding is being applied. Now when we hover over this, we need to have this hover effect. So for that let's go ahead and let's add a hover effect over here. So I'll just type search results ULA:hover, and we need to have a smooth transition. So here I'll just type transition, and let's set it to all 400 milliseconds ease. And here for the hover effect, let's type background, and I'll just set the background color to DAE7EB. And now we can see we have the hover effect, but we need to have full width for these anchor tags. So here let's type width of 100%. And now here also we can see that the width is not as expected. It is more than what we expect. So for that, here also we need to type box sizing and set it to border box. And now we can see that we have the correct width for the anchor tags, and everything is looking just like our design. Right now it is just showing these featured posts, but we want to add a functionality when we click on this search icon. we want to display the screen. And if we type something over here, we need to display the titles which have the in it. So here are all the posts that have the title the. So in this way you can search for the articles over here and click on any of these links and you'll be taken to that post. Now in a real website you will have all these post titles in a JSON format, and you can go ahead and filter through the JSON data and get the results over here. Now for this example I'll just use a simple array of objects. Right here we are in the source code of our design, and the first thing we will do is we will hide this section right here. So if you go back to the HTML file, here we can see that we have this division with the class of search results, and in that we have all this content. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the opacity of this search results division to 0 by default. So let's go to our style.css file and let's scroll down, and here is the search results division. So here I'll just type opacity and let's set it to 0. And now we can see that the division is not being displayed. But if you hover over any of these areas, we can see that we are able to click on the links. So further, let's go back and let's also set the pointer events to none. So now if you go over here and if you hover over this area, we are not able to click on the elements. Now what we need to do is we need to display it when we click on the search icon. So for that I'll just add an active class over here. So I'll just type search results dot active, and when we have the active class we'll set the opacity to 1 and we'll set the pointer events to auto. And here we'll also have smooth animation, so I'll just type transition and I'll just set it to all 400 milliseconds ease. Right, now let's start writing the JavaScript code. So if you go to the HTML file, here we can see that we have already linked our main.js file. So let's open it. Right, now let's start writing the JavaScript code. So if you go to the HTML file, and if you scroll down, here we can see that we have already linked our JavaScript file over here. So let's go to the main.js file, and the first thing we need to do is we need to reference the search icon. So for the search icon, we have this division with the class of search icon. So let's go to our main.js file and let's type const search icon equals document.querySelector, and here let's type header main header search icon. And now let's add the reference for the search results because we want to display it when we click on the search icon. So for that we have this division with the class of search results. So here I'll just type const search results equals document.querySelector header main header search results. Right, now let's add an event listener to this search icon. So I'll just type search icon dot add event listener, and let's listen for the click event, and here let's create an arrow function, and here we need to add the active class to the search results. So let's type search results dot class list dot add active. And now if we go back to our design, and now if we click on this search icon, and the search results should be displayed over here, but it is not being displayed. So let's see what's the problem. Let's right click over here and let's click on inspect, and let's go to console, and here we can see that we have this error at line number 7, and it says that cannot read properties of null. So let's go back, and here on line 7 we have search results, so this is null. So let's go over here, and here we have this typo, we have these 2 A's over here. So I'll just fix this, and let's go back, and now let's click on this search icon, and now we can see that the search results is being displayed over here. Now when we click on the search icon once more, it should disappear. So further, let's go ahead and change add to toggle, and now if we click on the search icon, the search results are displayed, and if I click on it again, it goes back. So it is working alright. Now the next thing we need to do is add the search functionality. So for that, let's go back, and here we will just add a simple array of objects. Alright, so here I have created this array of objects called all posts, and in that we have all these titles. Now in a real website, you will have this data provided to you as a JSON format. So you can go ahead and do the same things that we do over here using that data. But for now, I'll just use this all posts array. Now the first thing we will do is we will receive the input from our input field. So let's go ahead and reference that. So if you go to the HTML file, here we have this input with a class of search input. So let's reference this. Here I'll just type const search input equals document dot query selector, and let's type search results, search input. And now let's add an event listener to this. So let's type search input dot add event listener, and we need to listen to an event called input. Now this event will be fired when we add any text to this input field. Now first of all, let's test it. Now when we use this event listener, we also get some data as an argument. I'll just call it E. You can name this anything you want. And here I'll just type console.log, and let's type e.target.value. So this will give us the value that is inside the input field. Right now let's go back to our website and let's open the console. And let's go ahead and type something over here. So I'll just type T, and we can see that T is displayed over here. If I just type something, we can see that every time we type something, the text is displayed over here. So we are able to access the data that we enter over here. Now let's go ahead and use this data to filter out the titles from this all posts array. So let's go ahead and delete this console.log line from here. And the first thing we will do is we will store the data inside a constant. So I'll just type const, and I'll just call it query, and let's set it equal to e.target.value. And if we scroll up here, we can see that we have capital letters and small letters over here. So what we will do is we will just convert everything to lowercase, so that even if we type capital T or small t over here, it should have the result displayed over here. So let's type dot to lowercase. Right now let's go ahead and add an if condition over here, and let's see whether we have any text inside the input field. So let's type if query, and let's go ahead and filter out the titles. So I'll just create a variable over here, and I'll just call the variable filtered posts, and by default I'll just set it to an empty array. Right now let's scroll down, and here let's type filtered posts equals all posts, and we will use a function called filter in JavaScript. And here let's create an arrow function. Now here for each of the posts, I'll just call it post. And here let's type const title equals post.title.to lowercase. And then we'll just return title.includes query. So what we are doing over here is that we are checking whether the query that we provide in the input field is included inside the title of any of these posts inside all posts, and we are just storing that inside the filtered posts array. Right now what we need to do is we need to generate the titles. So I'll just create a function for that, and I'll just call it populate search results. And we also need to change the title that we have over here to search results. So let's reference that. If you go to the index.html file, here we can see that we have this division with the class of search title. So here I'll just type const search title equals document.querySelector search results search title. And let's scroll down, and let's type search title dot text content, and I'll just set it to search results. And let's add an else over here, and here I'll just type search title dot text content, and let's set it to featured posts. Right now let's test whether this works, but before that let's create this function. So I'll just type const populate search results, and now let's go back and let's test whether the title changes. So let's type something over here, and we can see that it changes to search results, and if we delete everything from here, it changes back to featured posts. Right now let's write the code to create the titles. So if we go back to the index.html file, this is how the structure of the elements should look. We need to have this UL, and in that we need to have the li, and in that we need to have the anchor tag with the post link and the post title, and we need to add all of this inside the results container division. So let's reference this. So here I'll just type const results container equals document.querySelector results container, and let's scroll down, and here let's type const ul, and we need to create a UL. So let's type document.createElement UL. And then we need to loop through all the items inside the filtered posts, and we need to create list items and anchor tags. So let's use for each for that. So I'll just type filtered posts dot for each, and for each of the posts I'll just call it P. And let's create an arrow function over here, and here let's create a list item. So I'll just type const li equals document.createElement li, and we also need to create an anchor tag. So let's type const a equals document.createElement a, and for the anchor tag we need to have an href. So let's type a.href equals, and for now I'll just type hash. You can type the link of the post over here, and then we need to add the text. So let's type a.textContent, and let's set it equal to p, which is the post dot title, and then we need to add the anchor tag inside the li. So let's type li.append child a, and we need to add the li inside the ul. So let's type ul.append child li, and we need to add this unordered list inside this results container. So let's type results container dot append child ul, and before this we need to delete everything inside the results container. So let's type results container dot inner html equals blank. Right now let's see whether this works. So let's open the results container and let's type something over here, and here we can see that the search results are displayed over here. So if we type something, the results for that search term is displayed over here. But when we don't have any text over here, we need to have the featured post displayed over here. So for that, let's go back, and let's go back to the HTML file, and let's copy this UL from here, and let's go back to the main.js file, and here in the else we'll just type results container dot inner HTML equals, and here we'll just add the UL. So let's add backticks, and I'll just paste the code over here. Right now let's go back to our website, and let's click on the search icon, and if we type something over here, we can see that the posts are displayed over here. But if you don't have any text inside the search input field, then we can see that the featured posts are displayed over here. So everything is working all right. Right here I'm in the dashboard of my Blogger website, and if I go over here to theme, here we can see that we are using this theme called Contempo Lite, which comes by default with Blogger. Now if I just open this website, this is how it looks right now. Now we're gonna go ahead and replace this header right here with this header. So let's do that. Let's go over here and click on this arrow, and let's click on edit HTML. And now we need to replace this header. So let's right click over here, and let's go to inspect, and let's see how this page is structured. So here we can see we have this header, and in the header we have all the content for the header. So let's go ahead and search for this header tag. So here in this theme code we can just press Command F or Control F and just search for header, and here we can see we have this header. So I'll just go ahead and hide this. So for now I'll just comment it. So you can just press less than, exclamation, and hyphen hyphen to comment it, and let's search for the end of the header tag. We can just search for it over here. So I'll just type less than / header, and this is the end of the header tag. So here I'll just type hyphen hyphen greater than, and now we can see everything inside the header is commented. Now this code will not be executed. So now if we save this, and now if we go back to our website, and if I refresh this page, here we can see that the header is no longer displayed. Now let's go ahead and add this header right here. So for that, let's go back to our theme code, and here we will add the HTML of our header design. So let's go to the source code, and I will leave the link of the source code in the description. So let's go ahead and copy this header from here, and let's copy it till this line of code, and let's paste it over here. And now let's also copy and paste the CSS. So if you scroll up, here we can see that we have the CSS of the theme code. So let's go ahead and add a comment over here. So I'll just type custom header, and let's go to our CSS file, and I'll just copy all the CSS from here and I'll just paste it over here. Now let's go ahead and save this. And let's go back to our website and let's refresh this page. And here we can see that the header is being displayed. Now if you scroll down, the header moves up. Now we want the header to stay there fixed. So for that, let's go back, and here let's go to the container division, and here for this header, main header, let's go ahead and set the position to fixed. So right now it is set to relative, so I'll just change this to fixed, and let's save it and let's see how it looks. Let's go back to our website and let's refresh this page. And now we can see we have some problems. So we don't have the correct width for this element, and we want all the other elements to have some margin top so that the header is displayed correctly. So let's do all of that. Let's right click over here and go to inspect, and let's go ahead and see what is the width of this element. So if you go over here to this division right here, this is the container division, and if we scroll down, here we can see that we have a width of 890 pixels. Let's go ahead and let's go back to our theme code, and here we need to set the width. So let's set the max width to 890 pixels. Now for an element with a position of fixed, to have the full width you have to set the left position to 0 and also the right position to 0. And let's go ahead and save this. And let's go back to our website and let's refresh this page. And this is how our header looks right now. And now we can see that the header has a larger width, but it doesn't have the correct width. So for that, you can just add a line of CSS. So if I right click over here and go to inspect, and let's select the main header. And here for the main header, if I just type box sizing border box, now we can see that we have the correct width. That's because now we are also including the padding of the element inside the width. So now we have the correct width. Now if you scroll down, we can see that all the other elements are going through the header. So we need to set a z index to this header. So here let's tap z index, and I'll just set the z index to, let's try 500. And now we can see that the header is on top of all the other elements. So let's add these two lines of code. So I'll just copy this, and let's go back to our code, and here I'll just paste the CSS, and let's save this. And let's go back to our website and let's refresh this page. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to add some margin top for all the other elements. So let's right click over here and go to inspect, and if you scroll up, here we can see that after the header we have this div, and in the div we have all the elements. So let's go ahead and add some margin top to this. So here if we just type margin top, let's try some values. Let's try 40 pixels, and I think we can increase it. Let's try 50 pixels, and I think 51 pixels looks alright. So we can go ahead and change this to bring it down a little bit more if you want. I'll just stick to 51 pixels. Right now let's go back to our theme code, and let's go ahead and take a look at the div. So I'll just search for it over here. I'll just search for the end of the header tag. And here we can see after the header ends, we have this div. So let's go ahead and add a class for this so that we can style it in the CSS. So I'll just type class, and I'll just set the class to a unique value. I'll just type my main container. Right now let's scroll up and let's go to the CSS, and we'll just select the class called my main container, and let's add a margin top. And let's set the margin top to 51 pixels, and let's go ahead and save this. And now if we go back to our website, and if I refresh this page, here we can see that everything looks alright. Let's open one of these posts, and here also we have the correct margin top. So everything is working alright. Now let's go ahead and add the JavaScript. Before that, let's go ahead and set the link of this logo to the home page. So I'll just copy the link of this home page from here, and let's go to our header, And here we can see that we have this division with the class of logo, and here we have this anchor tag. So here, instead of this hash, I'll just paste the link of the home page. And now let's go ahead and save this. And let's go back to our website, and if I refresh this page, and if I open one of these posts, and if I click on this logo, we are taken back to the home page. Right now, let's go ahead and add the JavaScript. So let's scroll down and let's go to the end of our theme code, and we'll add the JavaScript over here. So just before the body ends, I'll just create a script tag over here. And let's go back to our source code, and let's go to the main.js file, and let's copy all this JavaScript from here. And we're going to change all this data inside this array later. But for now, let's copy this and let's paste it over here. And let's click on save. And let's go back to our website and let's refresh this page. And now if we click on this search icon, we have this results container displayed over here, and you can search for anything right here and it will be displayed right here. Now what we need to do is we need to display the post from our Blogger website. And before that, let's go ahead and change these featured posts over here. Let's go ahead and change these featured posts to the posts from our website. So I'll just go ahead and copy this title from here. And let's go back to our theme code and let's go to the header. So I'll just search for the end of the header tag. And this is where the featured posts are displayed. So let's go ahead and select the first post. And let's paste the title over here. And let's also copy the link of this post. So I'll just right click over here and click on copy link address. And let's paste the link over here inside this anchor tag href. Let's do the same for these two posts. So for the second one, I'll just copy this one right here. And let's paste it over here. And let's copy the link. So right click over here and go to copy link address. And let's paste the link over here. And then lastly, we have one more post. So for this one, I'll just copy this title and let's paste it over here. And let's copy the link and let's paste the link over here. Right now, if we save this, and if you go back to our website and if I refresh this page, and if we click on this search icon, we have the correct featured posts over here. And if I click on any of these featured posts, we can see we are taken to that featured post. So everything is working all right. Now let's go ahead and add the functionality of the live search. So for that, the first thing we need to do is we need to get all the posts from our website. Now for this, we're going to use JSON feed API in Blogger. So let's go back and let's go to our JavaScript. And here at the end, I'll just create a script tag. And here we need to add an src. So let's type src equals. And here we need to add the link to fetch all the posts. So for that, you have to type /feeds /posts /summary alt equals JSON in script. And then you need to type ampersand callback, and here we need to add the name of a function. So we'll create a function called handle all posts. Now what will happen is that this line of code will run and it will get all the details of our website, and it will run this function called handle all posts. So let's go ahead and write the handle all posts function over here inside our JavaScript code. So here I'll just type const handle all posts equals, and here in this function we also get some data as an argument. So I'll just call it data. And first of all, let's see what we get in our data. So let's just console.log it. So I'll just type console.log data, and let's click on save. And here we have this error on line number 4862. That's because we have this ampersand symbol over here. So here you have to type ampersand amp semicolon, because we are writing all this code inside an XML file. So let's go ahead and save this. And let's go back to our website and let's refresh this page. And let's open the console. And here we can see we have this object, and if I open that, we have feed, and if I open the feed, we have all these details about our website. Here we can see we have the author, category, and all these things over here, but we are interested in entry. So let's click on entry. And here in the entry, we have all these posts from our website. And if I open any of these items, here we can see we have the ID, link, title, and all these things over here about the post. So what we will do is we'll just store this entry inside the all posts array. So if you go back to our JavaScript file, here we can see that we have this array called all posts, and in that we had all these titles which we used for testing our design. But now since we have the real data, we can just go ahead and store this entry inside the all posts array. So let's go ahead and here, if we scroll up, here we have this all posts array. So I'll just delete all the content inside that. So here we can see now we have this empty array. Now let's scroll down and here let's type all posts equals data, and we had feed in that, and in that we had entry. Right now let's go ahead and delete this line of code. So now we are storing the data of all the posts inside this all posts array. Now let's go ahead and see what are the other changes we need to do. So here we also need to change this UL for the featured posts. So let's copy the same HTML from above. So let's go to the end of the header tag. And here we have these featured posts. So I'll just copy this UL from here. And let's scroll down. And let's paste it over here because here also we are adding the same HTML. So let's paste it over here. Right now let's scroll up, and here we can see that we are adding an event listener to this search input, and in that we are populating this filtered posts array, and we are just checking whether the title of any of the posts inside all posts array includes the search term mentioned inside the search input. And here we are just creating this filter posts array, and then we are calling this function called populate search results. And let's scroll up and let's see what it does. So here we have this function, and that we are creating this UL which displays all these posts over here. Here we need to make a couple of changes. So here the first thing we need to do is we need to change p.title to the title that we get from the Blogger JSON feed. Let's quickly go ahead and see what is the data. So I'll just console.log it over here. So just type console.log, and I'll just log the all posts array, and let's click on save. And let's go back to our website and let's refresh this page, and let's open the console. And here we can see if we go inside one of these items, we have the title, and in the title we have this dollar symbol $T, and in that we have the actual title. So instead of just title, we need to change it to title.$T. So here let's change this to p.title.$T, and let's see how we are getting the link. So let's go back to the console, and for the link we have this link, and in that we have the last item which is the link of the post. So let's go back, and here we need to type p.link, and we need to select the last item. So for that you have to type p.link.length -1. So this will give us the last item, and in that we have the href key. So here we can see we have this link, and in that we have the href, and in that we have the link. So let's type .href, and I think that's basically it. So let's go ahead and save this. And let's go back to our website and let's refresh this page. And let's click on the search icon and let's search for something over here. So I'll just type how, and it doesn't seem to work. So let's right click over here and let's go to inspect, and let's see whether we have any errors. So here we have this error post.title.lowercase is not a function. Let's click on this link, and it is right here, post.title.toLowercase. That's because inside here we need to change it to post.title.$t. So let's go back and let's do that. So it is right here. So here we need to change this to post.title.$t to lowercase, and let's save it. And let's go back to our website and let's see whether it works. Let's click on this search icon and let's search for something over here. So if I just type how, we can see that all the posts for how are displayed over here, and if I click on any of these, we are taken to that post. So everything is working all right. Now here we can see that if we have a lot of posts, then we will have a very large height for this element. So we'll go ahead and set a max height for this. So I'll just right click over here and click on inspect, and this is the search results. So here I'll just set a max height, and let's try 400 pixels. I think we can decrease it even more. Let's try 300 pixels. I think that looks alright. You can change this to whatever you want. And now here we can see that the titles are displayed outside this division as well. So for that you have to type overflow y, and you need to set it to scroll. And now if you go back, we can go ahead and scroll over here. But when we scroll, we can see that the search input field is also going up. So let's go ahead and add these 2 lines of CSS to the inner division. So let's copy these from here, and let's go inside this div. And here we can see we have this division with the class of results container. So I'll just paste it over here for this element. And now we can see that we are able to scroll up or down. Let's decrease the max height a little bit more. I think 240 looks alright. So now let's go ahead and add this CSS to our theme code. So we need to add these 2 lines of CSS. So let's copy these, and we need to add it to the results container. So let's go to the CSS, and here we have the CSS for the custom header. Let's search for the results container, and I don't think we have the selector for that. So I'll just create it over here. So I'll just type search results container, and let's paste the 2 lines of CSS over here, and let's click on save. And let's go back to our website and let's refresh this page, and let's click on the search icon and let's search for something. So now we can see that we have the correct height. So everything is working alright. And if I click on any of these links, we are taken to that particular post. So that's basically how you can add live search to your Blogger website. Alright, so that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.